Hello, here in this video we're going to look at week 21. This is going to be when we're factoring trinomials. And on this we'll be talking about how to find our answer, navigate some of the problem solving necessary to be successful here. But you also see it says you should always check your answer by distributing. And we'll talk about what that means and how it can help us. The first one we're going to look at here is number 4. So we know the goal on these, and it'll be different on the second and third pages. But our goal here is to take this equation and we're going to factor it, split it up into its two binomials, its two different parenthesis pieces. Right now, the key way to do this is as follows. Alright, so what we're looking for is we're looking for factors of C. So we're looking for factors of 45. So that is numbers that multiply together. They give me 45. Where those same numbers add up to give me my B term. Right, and these A, B, and C terms I'm talking about is where A is just our first number. Here it's just a 1. B is 14 and C is 45. So I'm looking for factors of 45 that add to give me a 14. Now, as you get better and better at these, you'll start to just quickly generate the right combination. But let me show us how we can go through and kind of be more methodical to help generate our factors list. The first factor of a number is always 1 in itself. But I know that 1 times 45 certainly does not get me a 14. So I'm thinking about maybe 2 times something. Well, it's not even, so I don't have 2 in there. So I think, okay, well, maybe we've got a 3 in there. 3 times what would give me the 45? And on this would be a 15. What does 3 times 15? Oh, sorry, does 3 plus 15 give me a 14? No. So we got to keep going. I think maybe about a 4. So we know 4 doesn't go into it. What about a 5? 5 times 9. And make, uh-oh, and then that might be the combination I need. It is, right? Because 5 plus 9 also gives me my 19. So we'll write our answer like this. Right, that'll be our answer. We have the x plus 5 and we have the x plus 9. Now, like I said, you'll want to double check your answers by finding your 4 terms using the distributive property to make sure you get right back to your original answer. Now, when we find our 4 terms and put our like terms together, we see that we get right back to our original answer. That's how I know I didn't make any mistakes. All right, so let's go through and take a look at some other different scenarios that can happen. Let's go to number 12. All right, so now I'm looking for my factors of C that add to give me B. Pay close attention and notice that B is a negative 8 this time. All right, so you may be wondering, well, I need to have a positive 7. So I need to have 2 numbers multiply together to give me a positive 7, but add to give me a negative number. So what this is telling is I'm not going to have any type of combination of positive and negative, because we know that positive times positive takes me to a 7, or a positive 7, and also negative times negative can. So I'm going to need one of those different types. But we know that 2 positive numbers can never add to give me negative. So when I'm thinking of factors for 7, I know that they're both going to have to be negative. Right, so I know that 1 times 7 would give me 7, but I need the negatives. So also negative 1 times negative 7 will give me a positive 7. And this is actually our combination, because negative 1 plus a negative 7 also takes me to a negative 8. So those would be our 2 factors. We have the negative 1 and the negative 7. If you were to multiply those out and double check with the distributive property, you'd realize you get right back to our original answer. All right, so then looking at one here on 17, We're still doing the same process, factors of C that add to give me B. So I need numbers that multiply together to give me 48, that add to give me a 2. Now on this, I see that I have a negative number, which means one of my terms is going to have to be positive and the other term will have to be negative. And that's going to depend on which one, by us being able to get this combination to 2. So you may recognize that 6 times 8 gives us a 48. But since I need a negative 48, I'm going to put a negative sign with one of these, either the 6 or the 8. And it does matter, because if I put it with the wrong number, I'm not going to get a positive 2. Right? So if you maybe tried to choose the wrong one, say you put, look what would happen. 6 plus a negative 8 gives me a negative 2. That's not the combination we need. So what that's telling us is we're close, because we got a negative 2, we need a positive 2. All we need to do is switch the negative from the 8 to the 6. Right, because negative 6 times a positive 8 still gets us a negative 48, which is good. And also, negative 6 plus 8 takes me to a 2. So that's the combination we need. We need a negative 6 and a positive 8. Right, now you can double check that to make sure that you do indeed get back to the right answer. But there's a couple different cases. One where both the terms are going to be positive, no big deal. Ones where both the terms are going to be negative, which also isn't too bad. And then a type of problem where you have to worry about which number gets my negative sign and trying to navigate through that. All right, so continue to work on these and find those combinations. Remember, it's factors of C that add to give B.